this is a very good topic that you have generated following the vitros that we have witnessed from the UDA brigade and following the statements that we have witnessed from the broad-based government. I want to say that this is a strategy of the broad-based government to demonize and bastardize the Kikuyu community. The reason why we are being bastardized, demonized, is of course for the one reason is that the broad-based government understands that the Mount Kenya region's votes will be significant in determining who becomes the next president of the Republic of Kenya. Anyone who does not appreciate that fact is burying his head in the sand and is becoming the proverbial ostrich. So this bastardizing and the demonization is rekindling the 207 mantra. And the 207 mantra rekindled the 1997 mantra, and the 1997 rekindled the 1992 mantra. All those mantras, they were meant to make sure that the Mount Kenya vote-rich region, do not speak in one voice, and if they were to speak in one voice, they do not stand up to vote in one voice. For one reason, that the persons who engineered this knew automatically or definitely that our votes will at any given time substantively determine the person who becomes president. So this one is not a new mantra, is a perpetual continuation or is a perpetual operationalization of the 1992 mantra. You may even want to go back during the time of the struggle of independence and see how the Mount Kenya region was treated by Muzungu and how other regions were treated. If we were to make a comparative study, and anyone who wants to doubt might want to read the history and might want to recommend the British Gulag, that it's only in Mount Kenya region where we had the concentration camps. It's only in Mount Kenya region where people were disenfranchised, where families were disenfranchised. It's only in Mount Kenya region where we had taxation without representation. And just taking it as an example to show that this is not the first time that the bashing of the people from Mount Kenya region has begun. It has always been a socio, political, and economic strategy operationalized by those individuals who feel that the Mount Kenya region is not deserving. Is not deserving politically, economically, and socially. So I was giving that a background just to give an example where William Ruto and his cadres are driving their lessons from. Fast forward, these victories being, sorry, I beg your pardon, operationalized against the Mount Kenya region is meant to ensure that the Mount Kenya region do not actively participate in the 2007 elections to ensure that the constitutional threshold or constitutional formula of 50 plus 1% is not achieved. So they are not coming from the blues. They are coming from the situation whereby they want to differentiate. Let me finish. They want to differentize the votes in Nakuru County. They want to differentialize the votes they want to differentialize the votes in Trans Nzoia, differentialize the votes in Uasin Gishu, differentialize the votes in Nairobi, differentialize the votes in Mombasa, as well as Lamu.
Thank you.
Why? Because these votes put together will determine who becomes the next president. And of course, the person behind these vetoes is none other than Mr. William Ruto.
No.
He has not condemned this. He has not spoken about it. He has not called his backing dogs to.
So I can see this narrative that is being pushed, the envelope, even in some of the publications, just reading on the opinion pages of the Standard as well. We have a consummate lawyer like Itobi Manyara saying, this is a narrative that is being pushed by high-ranking officials, arguing, who are saying that this is an attempt to resurrect the infamous 41 against 1 playbook by isolating the Kikuyu community as the supposed architect of a national misfortune. For those who lived through, of course, the trauma of 2007 post-election violence, these patterns raise immediate alarm. And this is what you are alluding to as well. But if we plumb deeper, truly, is it the narrative that is being perpetrated? Or is this now the voices and the conscience bias of victimhood from the Mount Kenya region as well? Now, these are questions that we need to say. Are they being victimized? Or they are themselves who have raised these voices and saying they're being attacked, right? I think last Sunday we really talked about the spiral of silence. That when we have one dominant voice that is being given the microphone, being given the platform, being given all the publications and the appearances, and the voices also that maybe are not really aligned with the dominant voice, they will be silenced. And they hold different views. So the opinion of the public and the perception is this is the overriding narrative, that the Mount Kenya region is being victimized. But when you dig deeper, maybe that's not the truth. Your fellow panelists, finish up.
No. We are intellectuals. One man cannot make a point in two different statements, in two different ways.
Intellectuals are patient. You are not.
Okay, just a moment.
We are intellectuals.
So, you are not.
When one man makes a statement repeating himself, so we ordinarily get a bit exhausted.
Yeah, we shall interrupt you the same way. Okay, we shall do that.
It's all right. It's all right. But allow me to make my remarks. In respect to.
In respect, you may just mute, please. I don't want to have a very tacky conversation this evening. Can we just all be civilized and have decorum on this? We are moving forward. We are very, very able, respected panelists as well, Prof. So if you want to speak, kindly raise your hand up, like Kikuyu, they're doing your question as well.
Okay. I have raised. Let me finish what I was saying, Prof.
Okay, just hand up.
Prof, I was on my feet.
All right. So
I was saying. Permit me to answer the question why the 2007 post-election violence. It is amazing and disturbing that Daktari categorizes the events of 2007 to be historical. That is not historical. The graves of those individuals that Mr. William Ruto was charged for in the ICC are still fresh. You cannot call and classify that as historical. And if he was desirous of addressing the issues that are ailing Kenyans, he would not have put a cut-off date of the 2017. The fact that he does not want us to speak about 2007, that 2007 debate is causing a lot of stomach upset, as indicated and evidenced by Daktari, tells you that he's not interested in healing this country.